I'm going to play two scenes from two different movies for you. One of them is funny, one of them is not.
He was quite fond of the drink.
Ah.
It was a drink that killed him.
How awful. He was an alcoholic.
No, he was hit by a Guinness truck.
Here we are.
Whoa.
Tell me we're not staying here.
Morning.
This place is sinking.
I think you mean charming.
Do you know why one was funny and the other was not? Those were both examples of mechanical comedy, meaning there was a clear setup and payoff for both of them, and all of the intended humor was stemming outwards from the dialogue. I'm trying my best to use like-for-like comparisons here. The first clip is from Mrs. Doubtfire, release year 1993. And the second clip is from Spider-Man Far From Home, release year 2019. I know you're probably thinking it's so unfair of me to match Mrs. Doubtfire up against a Spider-Man film. And ordinarily I'd agree, but Spider-Man Far From Home so desperately wants to be a comedy movie. And while I think it failed at that, I'm going to treat it as the comedy it so wants to be. Let's try another comparison. Same again. Comedy style mechanical with dialogue.
That's a pretty impressive bauble you got her.
Oh, thank you.
Fellow gives a gift like that, he wants more than a piece of her heart, eh? Bit of a going down payment, huh?
I would totally kiss you, but I think I just threw up in my mouth a little.
I might have a mint.
I think what stands out the most between these two clips is the abundance of wit in one and the lack of it in the other. There's a cleverness to Mrs. Doubtfire's writing, the way it takes such boring terminology as down payment and bastardizes it, repurposes it, and imbues it with new meaning. This is also a joke that would have gone way over your head if you were a kid. The movie is full of these jokes, and people do love a dirty joke.
You dog. You scallywag.
It's guaranteed laughs, right?
How's the suit?
The suit's great. It's awesome. It's a little tight around the old web shooter.
Parker.
Oh, never mind. See, dirty jokes do often require some effort, some creativity. They can be seen as cheap laughs a lot of the time, but not that cheap.
Oh, by the looks of you, that water's so cold.
Now let's get to a different style of comedy. Situational with dialogue.
If he would get a job and a decent apartment, you see, he's the kind...
Excuse me, dear. I'm sure you normally would encourage the children to step out of the room before you verbally bash their father.
Sure, it fits fine. I don't really need to
Take off your clothes.
Okay. Weird.
You'll notice the lack of setups and payoffs here. There's no punchline in either of these clips. Situational comedy is not about what's being said. It's more about how it's said. The comedy is almost entirely in the context. For example, that Mrs. Doubtfire clip, it wouldn't surprise me if you didn't find that funny, because you're lacking the full context, assuming you haven't just recently watched the movie. Nothing Mrs. Doubtfire says in that scene is funny, but when you add the context back in, it's hilarious. For those of you who are unfamiliar or haven't watched it in a while, in the movie, the main character, Daniel Hillard, professional actor, has temporarily lost custody of his children for 90 days following his divorce because he lost his job and his wife got their house.
Oh,
He has to get his life in order, and then if all checks out after 90 days, he will be awarded joint custody of his children. Seeing his children 2 days a week for 3 months wasn't enough for him, so he has the brilliant idea to get his special effects artist brother and brother-in-law to put the fee in female, to turn him into a woman.
Could you make me a woman?
Disguising himself so he can pose as a housekeeper for his now ex-wife. So in this scene, this is Daniel under all of this makeup, listening on as his ex-wife badmouths him, Daniel, to his children, and he's desperately trying to hide his irritation at that. I'll play it for you again.
If he would get a job and a decent apartment, you see, he's the kind...
Excuse me, dear. I'm sure you normally would encourage the children to step out of the room before you verbally bash their father.
Was it not funnier that time? Now, as for the Spider-Man Far From Home clip, the context, strangely enough, does not heighten the humor. Here's the context. This woman telling Peter, very kindly, to pull his pants down, is an ally of Peter. She just wants to make sure Peter's new stealth outfit fits him properly, and she's quite insistent on him stripping down before her and trying it on to see how it fits. I really don't see what's supposed to be funny about this. It's definitely an attempt at humor, and I can see that it's situational comedy, but it's not very comedic. It's actually a little horrifying, and I'm comparing it with a movie where we walk in on an old lady peeing standing up. That says something.
Oh, God.
Oh my God!
Chris!
Let's do one last comparison, and let's take it right down to the most fundamental level, as if it were the old silent movie days. Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton kind of stuff. Comedy style, situational, no dialogue.
How precise.
And just to further prove my point, I'm going to put them both in black and white and give them more of a classical sound. Now, once again, the Mrs. Doubtfire clip, as simple as it was, you might have even missed it. The comedy was heightened by the context. The movie has so much fun with the concept of a man disguising himself as a woman. Like with what you saw here, Mrs. Doubtfire, Daniel, checking out the ass of a hot girl passing by. And once again, the Spider-Man clip can't be saved by its context because there isn't any. Besides, this man is a moron.
Just making the rounds, see if anyone needs any emotional counseling after today's traumatic events.
No, we'll be okay. We're fine. Thank you.
Before I put pen to paper writing the script, I was going to make the argument that situational comedy is just inherently superior to mechanical comedy. But that's not true. I do think situational comedy tends to have a longer shelf life. It's easier to still find funny 10, 20, 50 years down the line. I think actions can be funnier than words. But it's clear to me now that you don't have to choose any one particular style of comedy. You can succeed and fail at any of them, really. It's all about the cleverness of the writers and the wit and spontaneity of your performers to be able to amplify what's on the page. That hit by a Guinness truck joke from Mrs. Doubtfire really should not have worked, but it was saved by how it was delivered, how it was performed.
No, he was hit by a Guinness truck.
A lot of movies today don't put much trust in the audience. Things are overly explained a lot of the time, like this example from Spider-Man Far From Home once again.
We're going to the opera.
None of us have ever wanted to go to the opera. Ever.
I bet now you're all happy that I had you pack a nice outfit.
Yeah, because we'd much rather go to a 4-hour opera instead of the biggest party in the world.
Flash Thompson's dialogue at the end there 30 years ago, that would not have needed to be said aloud. It could have been a funny scene. Kids whining about having to go to the opera when there's a massive carnival going on. It almost did it. It had them moaning about having to go, them saying they don't want to go, and then the immediate quick cut to them all dressed up for the opera, looking miserable, having to begrudgingly walk through all of the people having a good time, heading to the carnival. That's it, we get it. That actually might be funny. But then you have this one character literally explain to us why it's funny, to the point where it sucks all the energy out of it.
Guys, I think this is gonna be really fun, seriously.
I bet now you're all happy that I had you pack a nice outfit. Okay, here we are.
There definitely are still funny movies being made. There are modern comedies that people do enjoy. I recently watched The Fall Guy, and I have to say, I found the way Emily Blunt delivered her lines in the first half of that movie to be some of the funniest and most impressive examples of dialogue delivery I've seen in a long time. She could turn on a dime from serious to playful to outright condescending.
How would he justify this year she spent spinning out over this? What could he say? It's a puzzler, isn't it? But have you got any thoughts?
Maybe he'd
Nigel,
talk.
can you get him a bullhorn? I can't hear him.
A YouTuber I watch vehemently, I won't say who, but they swear by a movie called Joyride, release year 2022, as being the funniest movie of the last 10 years. I put it on with that in mind, and I had to turn it off after half an hour. It is absurd that after 30 minutes, I did not find anything funny in a comedy movie. I thought the comedy was lazy. A lot of it was filth without the creativity. Crude for the sake of being crude.
I cannot be seen in public looking like this.
Yeah, you look like Hello Kitty just got skull by Gropey.
Oh my god, he's so funny. You.
Anyway, Mrs. Doubtfire is without a doubt my favorite comedy movie, and it was released more than 3 decades ago. If you've got a favorite, for the laugh, maybe just tell me how old it is, because I'm assuming it is decades.
Bottom line, don't patronize kids, you know? The little people, you gotta personalize it. Make it fun and entertaining. If it's something you'd enjoy, they'd enjoy.